And again, when I'm talking about like stuff with nature worship, you know, like feeling good in nature and all that, like that's all fine and dandy. Everybody does find their own self within nature, but you gotta see past the point. Like, it feels good in nature, yeah, but it's something way down further. And I want to come up with an allegory here, because I did meet a witch in real life who says the goddess will always fight against necromancers. That is the allegory that I want to bring up for the next part. Do you know how freaking insulting that is? For someone like me that knows exactly who Hecate is, the goddess Hecate, knows that she is the goddess of all bats, all vampires, and all nocturnal demonic forces. To hear someone go absolutely bullshit, it's insulting, right? It's also insulting for people to say, I like the sunflower, because it is always going to scare away the ladybugs. Sure, you do get a feeling of bliss when you look at nature. Sure, you really do. Everybody does. But does that just mean you're open to blind light, to that stigma, the light stigma? Are you, like, enjoying the light stigma, or are you appreciating it? In contrast with, when the sun sets, for example. My main point being, don't follow vague assumptions in some spiritual book that you happen to see. Because that is just, you're making assumptions about that path. But once you get later into the work, you will realize stuff like, oh, there are many different currents to work through, energy currents to work through, and that type of stuff. And there's so many freaking crybabies like, why don't you join my way? Those type of people only go. The stereotype is, and I know this, they vaguely go snuff through Buddhist books and natural books and all that type of stuff, and they don't know like what is like 100% for real. And there's just so much to say about this. And there are this type of white lighters that will try to psychically attack you because they don't got their way. No, my way, my way, my way, my way. My way is the only way in the universe. My way is the only way in the universe. My way. And a lot of people just can't stand that. Some people have seen many different things, many different paths, and can't really stand people on a different highway, or someone who's still going through the mental paradigm that the other person went through and already went through. A lot of people just don't understand this. I don't know how to properly state this. There's a lot to say about many different paths. It's just hard to put into words. I just have to say that if you go around being spiritual, you will completely forget the entirety of your own natural soul. Your materialistic self, your lower self. It's very easy to do, to completely destroy your lower self or your higher self. It's like, think about your natural habits before you got into spirituality, and you'll realize that a lot of who you were is absolutely different. And it's not really the same soul. A lot of people are so spiritual they become vultures in a weird way, where it's like, come on, join the sheep community mindset, the mind hive sheep community of the new age community, and ooh, butterflies. When you're trying to think about, like, oh, how am I gonna actually live my whole life? How am I gonna do this, do that, do that? Oh, butterflies. How am I gonna do this? I might actually become a father. Holy crap, my girlfriend's. Oh, butterflies. Oh my god, my kid has just turned 2 or 3. Oh, butterflies. You see my point. My kid failed college. Oh, this. Oh, that. And things just start falling apart. Your house starts falling apart. Oh, butterflies. Because you do gotta realize, a lot of people, specifically individuals, need to realize who they were before they got into spiritual stuff, because a lot of that stuff can be, for all you know, could have brainwashed you against your natural personality, your natural individual. You could have been like a freaking vampire. You could have been a freaking anything. You could have been a beast of the night, and you would have did a complete freaking 180 here. You have no idea how many people change when they go through the whole New Age propaganda and all that type of stuff. There could have been a whole bunch of stuff in your personality, within your very DNA, that could have completely been wiped over, unnaturally, without any form of introspection. Oh, but negativity. It's negativity. It's negativity. Right? There's just a lot of these problems with the New Age mentality that I have grown over, and I have successfully got more into more shadowy type of mentalities, a lot of stuff. So yeah, I wanted to make the video for anybody that has made complete spiritual 180s throughout their life. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do today. While I do want to say that it is completely possible, yin and yang are natural forces of the universe. They are natural forces of the universe, but you should live a more mundane life. And plus, you should completely remember who you were. A lot of people want to go into spirituality and pick up these vague books and these vague ideas, and then they completely forget what kind of monster they were. Now, just like completely wipe it all away. Start a new slate, because that's what spirituality is. Oh, just start a new slate. You know, forget about all negativity. Go ahead. Meditate under a tree for fucking 3 days. Because life is sacred, okay? Life is completely sacred. I get it. But it's just the dichotomy of that. It seems to scream vanity. The entire philosophy of it. It's just vanity. We fight for the light, you know. And there's just so many problems with that, especially with people like, ooh, I want to get into spirituality, so I pick up this vague book referencing these vague things, and I don't know, it's just their brains don't really develop what spirituality is. So instead of actually going through and having a tough spiritual awakening that makes you freaking cry, they go, oh, it's bliss. Oh, it's bliss. It's completely bliss, right? No. Real spirituality involves you crying and being scared of who you actually are. Like, who is this? Who are you actually? You know, and I realized when I was going through and I was getting involved with stuff like infinite waters, I never had a huge awakening. I've never had that. Nothing. It's just, ooh, let me surround my aura with this freaking ignorance is bliss, right? No, that's what it really is. It's all what it is freaking ignorance is bliss. That's what it all is. Ignorance is freaking bliss. That's all it is. Get into stuff like quantum theory. If you want to like have a deep thought without like pretending to be an intellectual, get into something like mathematical. If you want to be anything powerful, you have to be the type of darkness Buddha was fighting away from. And that is where the real raw essence of where power lies. A lot of people choose this path. It's called shadow working. What is in your own darkness? What is it in the darkness around you? And then I picked up S. Connolly. She is a really well-known author about stuff like Goetia, you know. And it cleared my mind far more than anything I've thought about. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah. And going back to the whole ignorance is bliss, going to a metaphysical bookstore and seeing all these vague books, is like, how weak of a person do you really have to be? I mean, like, you can always kind of go and stay on the path of those, on the vague subject matter, but you gotta understand a whole bunch more. And unfortunately, the community of spirituality just wants to go on that vague stuff, wants to go on the whole vague idea. But in reality, at its core, it's becoming a living God. Finding your own power. And it starts linking more and more and more. So, yeah. It leads to different paths as well. So, yeah. I don't know. When I see, like, Wiccan books, all I see is weakness. I see it, like, as weakness. When I go to a metaphysical bookstore, all I see in those bright purple colors, bright color, all I see is weakness. All I see is weakness. And within those books, all I see is watered down subject matter. And within the page, there's only a couple sentences that have any meaning, but the rest of it's just googly wash. I've tried neo-paganism, and it doesn't really work for me. I've tried New Age, it worked even less. Come on, all it is just hope speech. So when I got into stuff like, Michael W. Ford, he was really revolutionary. His artwork, it's all there. Constructive criticism of everything. It's just kind of naturally flows. And then stuff like S. Connolly, where it's just kind of branched out my brain more than any of the New Age stuff did. So, yeah. Okay, because that allegory goes pretty far, actually, because if you actually get into it, Hecate, Lord of the Vampiress, or the Vampires, and all this type of stuff. And then you get into other things. You start figuring out that, in Aradia, Gospel of the Witches, right? And this is to all the witches that think there are white letters here. Okay, in Aradia, why does it say Diana spins, or, Wait, I have to remember the exact quote, because it's one or the other. Diana is the wheel, and Lucifer spins the wheel, or Lucifer is the wheel, and Diana spins it in whatever direction. And then we get into the base word, Goetia, which means the left hand of the witch. And we get into the whole magical current of Saturn, and the magical current of draconian, that type of stuff. I'm personally not as fully religious into this type of stuff, but it's there, and it's there to grow. But you cannot deny the forces of the nature of the witch is more demonic than you want to think it is. You can't freaking deny it. It's basic New Age philosophy, especially when you want to get into it and you want to sound smart, like a lot of these people in America want to be, you just sound like a vague bullshitter. Because a lot of the symbols, even the basic neo-pagan pentagram, actually came from King Solomon, one of his sigils of magic. And a lot of his work had to do with the Goetia demons. In fact, he encased all 72 Goetia spirits within a brass vessel and threw it away into the depths to never be found. So there is that. And of course, the everything. A lot of people want to say, oh, Baphomet is evil, Baphomet this, Baphomet that. Well, actually, the origination of the Baphomet goes pretty much hand in hand with the terms left hand and right hand path. Because the left hand goes down to the abyss into the descent, and his right hand goes up like this. A lot of people want to say that the Baphomet is evil, but in most witch stores, like the legitimate ones, not the ones that are trying to be edgy to teenagers, but they sell stuff, and when you get the pagan god statue, they don't call it the horned god, they call it the devil. When they sell sabbatic goat, the sabbatic goat of the 13th century collection of that type of stuff, it's the picture of the Baphomet or Baphomet. The problem with white light type of witches would be the type that once they get into Wicca, right, and cleanse themselves from all evil. That's the problem. Even though 90% of Wicca and neo-paganism is actually based off of King Solomon's demonology, and they want to cleanse themselves and protect themselves from demons.